So, how we doing, family? It's your boy, Yo, and this is another episode of YoHoops. I go through every NBA game every day. Today's Thursday, March 5th, and we have a 9-game NBA card. I'm going to walk you through my thoughts and let you know what sides I like, so please leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and let me know your favorite game in the comment section below. Without further ado, let me get into today's games. A recap yesterday, they finally got me on a losing day. I went 2-4 on the 6-game card. Don't get me wrong, I know I'm not going to win every day, but we've been on a crazy win streak over the last month or so. That Thunder game actually had me sick because we could have easily got the cover there, so in my opinion, it really could have gone either way. We have 9 games on today's card. Let's get right back in that win column and start another streak. In our first matchup of the evening, we have the Dallas Mavericks in Orlando taking on Orlando Magic. Magic are minus 415 on the money line, and the total is 229. The Magic showed up for us in their last game laying the big number, but that was against the Wizards. The Mavs have been slightly more competitive, and it looks like a few guys will be back in the lineup tonight. PJ Washington will play. Cooper Flagg is listed as questionable. Then Brandon Williams, Klay Thompson, and Najee Marshall have all been upgraded to probable. I lean towards the Mavs in terms of a side, but personally, I'm looking at a prop. I'm taking Brandon Williams to go over 12.5 points. He's been quietly hooping for the Mavs. He's cashed this line in 9 of his last 10 games. He gets up about 11 shots a night, and recently, they've been falling. I see my guy going for 14 easy. In our next matchup, we have the Utah Jazz in DC taking on the Washington Wizards. Wizards are minus 145 on the money line, and the total is 243.5. The Jazz come into this one on the second leg of a back-to-back, flying from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. At first glance, I was surprised to see the Wizards as more than a bucket favorites here, but it made sense when I realized Trae Young will be making his Wizards debut. That's huge, and this is definitely going to be a fun game to watch, but it is unfortunate that all of his big men are ruled out. Alex Sarr and Tristan Vucevic are both hurt, so it's hard for me to say what we'll get from Trae Young with a bunch of mediocre shooters. One thing I know is we won't see much defense played on either side, considering all the bigs are out, so I'm personally looking at the over. I like the fact that Utah is on no rest because I always mention the first place teams give up effort is on the defensive end. They'll still get their shots up. I think we see a track meet. It's probably set this high for a reason. I'm taking the Jazz and Wizards over 243 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Brooklyn Nets in Miami taking on Miami Heat. Heat are minus 300 on the money line, and the total is 226.5. We saw this exact same matchup on Tuesday, and the Heat won that one 124-98. I had the Nets plus 13 in that game, so it definitely doesn't sound fun running that back. Problem is, that's the way I have to play it. What really stood out to me in that last game was the fact that Michael Porter Jr. shot 3 for 17 from the field. He's been one of the most efficient scorers in the league. Even if he bumps that up to 40%, they get the cover in that game. Norman Powell is still ruled out, and like I mentioned last time, Tyler Hero and Andrew Wiggins don't really scare me if I'm fading them. I'm taking the Nets plus a 13 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Golden State Warriors in Houston taking on the Houston Rockets. Rockets are minus 380 on the money line, and the total is 214.5. Both teams come into this one with a few significant injuries, but I'm still leaning to the Warriors just because I see them as the deeper team. They are without Steph, but guys like Podziemski, Melton, and Pat Spencer can heat up at any moment. The Rockets are still without Jabari Smith, but now Amen Thompson and Sengun are both listed as questionable. If Sengun doesn't play, there's a chance they lose this one outright. We know we can't count on 37-year-old KD to carry a team anymore. I'm taking the Warriors plus a 9 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Detroit Pistons in San Antonio taking on the San Antonio Spurs. Spurs are minus 160 on the money line, and the total is 229. The Spurs. These boys do not let me down. They're currently on a 12-1 run, now top 5 in the league against the spread. We've seen them handle all of the best teams in the league, including these Pistons, at full strength tonight. I see them keeping the momentum rolling. The last time these teams played was on February 23rd in Detroit, and the Spurs won that one 114-103. Wemby is the easy answer for Jalen Duren, and past Cade, the Pistons don't have a bunch of consistent bucket getters. San Antonio's playing on another level. I'm locking this one in. I'm taking the Spurs laying the 3.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Toronto Raptors in Minnesota taking on Minnesota Timberwolves. Wolves are minus 235 on the money line, and the total is 226. It looks like the Raptors come into this one slightly banged up. Colin Murray-Boyles is ruled out, then Brandon Ingram is listed as questionable with a sprained right thumb. I'd lean to the Wolves in terms of a side, but I can't overlook the fact that they're 11-17 against the spread as home favorites. Rather than taking a side, I'm looking at the total. The Raptors are a bottom 10 team in the league in terms of scoring, averaging 113 points per game. The Wolves do score the ball, averaging 119, but they also have a top 5 defense, so their opponent is usually below their average. Both of these are taller teams known more for their defense, so buckets in the paint should be tougher to come by, and neither side has lights out shooters. I think this one's set on the lower side for a reason. I'm taking the Raptors and Wolves under 226.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Chicago Bulls in Phoenix taking on Phoenix Suns. Suns are minus 540 on the money line, and the total is 224.5. The Bulls come into this one with too many injuries for me to even look in their direction. Patrick Williams and Jalen Smith are both listed as doubtful, then Buzelis and Josh Giddey are both listed as questionable. They're already without Anthony Simons and Jaden Ivey, so at this point, they're holding on by a thread. The Suns are without Mark Williams and Dylan Brooks, but I still see enough talent on their roster to easily win this one in blowout fashion. The Bulls have won one of their last 12 games. In Phoenix, this should be light work. I'm taking the Suns laying the 10.5 as my next selection of the evening. In our next matchup, we have the Los Angeles Lakers in Denver taking on Denver Nuggets. Nuggets are minus 200 on the money line, and the total is 240. Hey, the Lakers pushed in that last game, so I'll give them a pass for now on being overrated. This is a nice test in Denver with Jokic playing, but I can't say I see a huge edge either way. I lean towards the Nuggets in the Mile High City, but rather than taking a side, I'm looking at a prop. We should see plenty of missed shots in a game like this. I'm taking Nikola Jokic to go over 12.5 rebounds. He averages 12.6 on the season, so even if DeAndre Ayton tries to stop him, it's not happening on the glass. Credit to the Lakers because they have played well recently, but I don't expect these role players to continue shooting at high clips. Jokic will be the guy grabbing those boards. Lock it in. In our next matchup, we have the New Orleans Pelicans in Sacramento taking on the Sacramento Kings. Pelicans are minus 200 on the money line, and the total is 235. With the Pelicans at full strength, I was starting to see some motion recently, but they come into this one banged up again. DeJounte Murray is ruled out, then Zion and Trey Murphy are both listed as questionable. I know the Kings have been terrible themselves, but if there's any spot I would expect them to show up, it would be at home against the banged up Pelicans. They have Westbrook, DeRozan, and Malik Monk playing. That should be enough to lose this one by 4. Not one I'm rushing to the window with by any means, but the Kings can't lose every game. I'll lean to Sacramento plus a 5.5 as my last and final selection. And that's going to conclude today's video. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. I'm now 17, 12, and 2 on every game played in March. Let's get right back in that win column tonight. I appreciate the support so much. I do this every day for free, so please leave a like and subscribe to the channel. It's your boy, Yo! And until the next one, I'ma catch y'all. Peace!